Hey guys, welcome back. Drip Coach here with Drip and Farm for Property, where we don't trust, we verify, and operate with integrity and transparency. Today's video, we got Lawrence Lepard, or Larry Lepard. He's on BTC sessions. This is probably about a week old by the time you guys watch this, and it was about the Fed not cutting, basically. But Larry wrote the book, The Big Print. I haven't got my hands on that. I need to check and see if it's available on Audible. But the TLDR is that it's very similar to Lynn Alden's Nothing Stops This Train. It's basically saying that since the U.S. has gotten into so much debt, there is no other way out but to print or debase the currency. And he starts this clip off talking about how Doge was originally trying to cut to make some savings, and then they figured they couldn't go 2 trillion like Elon said, then 1 trillion was too much, and then it's like a couple $100 billion now. So the TLDR that Larry's going to go over is that, yeah, the print is coming and Powell is on his way out. So if you're still sit on the sidelines or don't believe that Bitcoin can go higher, or that you believe the bull run is over, hopefully, again, these gurus and analysis type individuals will help you get some more data to make more sound decisions.
I think it's for sure, if Trump is going to emphasize growth, he's going to need cheaper money to do it. He's already angling to get that, and he will get that. We know for a fact next May. And so my sense is, this is, the big print, so to speak. I mean, it may not be coming tomorrow, but it's definitely coming sometime before the middle of next year. And markets are forward looking, right? They don't just look at what's happening now. They look at what they expect to happen. And if we do a shadow Fed president and we continue our assault on Powell, I think there's a very good chance that the asset markets are going to look through all this, and Bitcoin's going to 400 and gold's going to 5,000. So I'm incredibly bulled up on what I see happening, because even Trump himself has admitted that we can't balance the budget. He supported the big beautiful bill, and he's taken the path which says that we're going to grow our way out of it. And there's only one way to get the kind of GDP growth that they're looking for, and that's massive inflation. And the only way to get massive inflation is to get massive growth in the money supply, which of course we all know has to be coming. And that's what my book outlined has to eventually happen. And, they've had a lot of tricky ways of doing it. I mean, there's, in the Genius Act, there's something that says that, $3 trillion of bank reserves that are stored with a Fed might be able to be used. And this is kind of gray, to back stablecoins. And, Trump is talking about how big they are on stablecoins. Of course, they're huge stablecoin supporters, because if, there were $3 trillion of stablecoins, then, as we all know, the stablecoin issuers are huge buyers of the treasuries, and we got a lot of treasuries to sell. So kind of, wrapping all of that up, it's not coming in the traditional fashion. We don't have ZERP yet. We don't have QE yet, although they did cut the QT from 25 trillion or billion a month to 5. And maybe if something breaks, the Fed will be forced to act before Powell leaves. But, even if they're not, we know what's coming come next May. So, the big print, in my view, is still imminent. And the markets, I believe, will front run it. And that's why, Bitcoin's an all-time high today, and gold is bumping up right against its all-time high. So,
well, it's corrected since then. Like right now, we're sitting at down 3% on Bitcoin in the last 7 days. But yeah, we were at an all-time high when Larry made this video. And even when you zoom out, where is the 30-day? Thought there was an easy way to change that to 30-day. It's on the phone, but we can go 1 month. 1 month ago, we were down at 109, so we're still up from the previous, over the last 30 days, and just down a couple percent from the all-time high. Now, what he mentioned is they have multiple ways of getting this money into the system without QE. So QE is the buzzword. That's what they're waiting on Powell to do, but he's not playing ball. But as Larry mentioned, he said that they have the Stablecoin Genius Act. But also remember, I covered this with Jack Mallers. They have Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac in the housing market, and they released statements or a bill or a push to have Bitcoin used as collateral. Then they have Trump saying that they're going to put BTC into the retirement plans. So there is multiple ways that they are going to, as Jack says, debase the dollar, and debase the dollar against what? And that would be Bitcoin and gold. And they're not talking about putting gold in anyone's portfolios or allowing it to be used as collateral for purchasing homes. They're only talking about Bitcoin. So it's clear that they are moving in that direction to get these trillions of dollars that they need to stimulate this big print. And on top of that, like Larry said, we may see rate cuts if something breaks. And remember, in the last video I shared with you guys, we have seen the job market break. So now poly market odds show by the next FOMC meeting in September, a 80% rate cut. Previously, they were sitting at around 50% back in early July. They thought there'd be a 50% chance, but now it's jumped all the way up after the jobs data came out from 73% to 80%. And most likely we'll get 2 rate cuts, although it could only be 1 because it's very difficult to do these back to back in September and October because they want to see how it's affecting things. But since the job data came out right after this meeting, most likely they'll have poor job data to support as well. And then as long as inflation stays where it's at, which it has been, then there's a very strong likelihood of rate cuts, 25% or 0.25% here, 25 basis points and 25 basis points probably again by the end of the year. All that really means for the rest of us on the sidelines is that number go up for Bitcoin. But remember, we should be evaluating how many sats are you able to collect? What is your lifestyle in sats, you know? So it's not really about number go up, because all that really does is incentivize the fiat stronghold that we're in. Because if you're looking for a better Bitcoin price so that you can feel better about your USD dollar value, then you're kind of missing the boat on what Bitcoin is and how it's meant to be used and literally help you escape the matrix. But it still does feel good. I understand that. I'm in that same boat. So the TLDR, I think, as I mentioned before, and I was looking at that post somewhere in my Telegram, Larry said 400K. I made this post back June 11th in my Telegram using AI about some of the catalysts. We haven't gotten there yet, but it was about the hackathon, the Genius Act, crypto framework, China tariff deal that hasn't been finalized yet, Treasury bond refinancing. They haven't done that, so that's probably coming in September. Potential Fed rate cut, that'll probably be September as well. The SLR for banking rules, I think that's still scheduled. But either way, I put a forecast of 166 to 225 by the end of September. So we'll see. We can still definitely get to 166. It basically requires a 50% from here. We're sitting at 114-ish right now. And to get to 170, that's 50%. So that is not unusual. As Plan B said, RSI above 70 or 80, I think it's above 80, is 40% plus month. Typically, August is a down month, so we may not see it this month, but you could definitely see, say, still 15%, 20% in August, and then the remainder in September. So it's not off the table. You remember, it's amazing how fast BTC can run. And we haven't really seen anything big happen because of the way the liquidity game is being played and the consistent stacking of these new treasury companies and ETFs. So I believe it's still going to rip, and it just may be pushed further down the line somewhere. Let me know what you guys think, where you're sitting at. Have you read the big print? Do you believe in that narrative? Are we going higher from here? Are we stagnant? Is this just a chop before chop suey and we all lose our shirts? All right, smash that if you're special. Help brother out. Like, subscribe, comment down below. And until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See you.